why I no longer ask God to heal me. Now, at first with this title, you may think that I just lost my Christianity. Let me assure you that's not true. The second question you may ask is, well, do you still believe in healing? Well, yes, I do. But I've had a paradigm shift. The way I think about it has changed from where I started with that. And I'll just tell a story of the time that I asked for healing and why it worked and why I don't do it that way anymore. So one time when I was about 14 years old, I was just playing with a pencil, being a teenager, being a kid, and I accidentally stuck it in my eye. And I could see like my little veins in my eye just getting all red all of a sudden. And I just put my hand on my face like this and I said, Jesus, heal. And I watched it go back, just boom, like that. Just like a vacuum cleaner just sucked all the way back. And now I'll tell you, when I spoke that, I didn't use grammar because usually we do Jesus, comma, heal. Well, I didn't have time for that. And I still got healed. So why did it work? I still had like an asking posture part. I was still like, God help me, like you do this, and boom, it was done. And so your question may be, well, okay, so if you got results with asking, then why quit asking? So here's where my mindset has shifted. Jesus, when he did healing on this earth, he did it as a man under the Father's authority. Authority is where you could do something on behalf of another and have the right to do it and have the resources to back it up. For example, the centurion man, he understood this better than anybody. And Jesus even said to him, I have not found such faith even in all of Israel. He said, I tell one man, you go and do this, and he does it. He understood what it meant to operate by authority. He didn't have to go and ask the emperor, can I do this? The emperor already put him to place to do that. And so it's the same way in the kingdom of heaven, that heaven has put us into a place as believers where we could speak to it what the king would want to be done without asking the king to do it. And biblical example of this, Jesus had just spoken to the fig tree and it withered. And of course the disciples were like, how did you do that? And he said, if you have faith and do not doubt, not only will you do what was done to this fig tree, but you will even say to this mountain, be lifted up and thrown into the sea, and it will happen. If you believe, you'll receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Now, this goes back to the asking question. Well, are we supposed to ask or are we supposed to command? Interestingly, I looked up that word ask, and another translation of it is demand. Now, if you look up the context of that story of the fig tree, it's Matthew 21, and Jesus had just demonstrated giving a command or a demand for this fig tree. So he's saying, if you say in this way and out of this posture of heart, you're believing in your heart, it's going to happen. And now the reason why with the earlier story, why I still got results, even though, quote, I wasn't using a demand or a command type of operation, is because I still believed in my heart. And that's why it worked. But there comes a point where you've got to change your mindset from asking heaven to do it to speaking what heaven wants to happen out of authority and seeing things shift and change at that place. Because you'll get to this point where, you want something to move and you'll be really zealous about it and you'll go after it and nothing. And you'll wonder, well, why didn't God do it? And then you'll start fill in the blank. You'll be wondering, well, maybe it wasn't God's timing, or you're throwing any number of ideas and no, that's not what's it. It's that you didn't know your authority in that place, and that you were zealous but didn't necessarily enter into faith, because faith looks like rest. Faith does not look like trying hard. Faith looks like mountain moving, but not by the strength of your own hand. And so the reconciliation, because then you get people on the commanding side where they just, they command, And then, boom, it's not moving. And then they get into self-condemnation. They're like, well, what am I doing wrong? Or I feel bad that this didn't happen, or they died, or stuff like that. Okay, so how do you get out of that? Because that's a ditch. You know, God didn't create us to live into condemnation. And it's recognizing Christ in you. Because without Him, you can do nothing. But all through Him, you can do all things. And it's recognizing your dependence on Him by His Spirit in you, that He has given you the power. So don't try to do it by your own power. Do it by the power He has given you within you. And don't rely on your own self and your own works of, quote, I had a good day or I had a bad day. It's not on your own authority. It's on the authority of heaven. It's not about if you were right or wrong. It's about, you know what, God wants that person set free. And I want to be a willing vessel for that. And so that's why I don't ask for healing. That's why I command, and I do see things shift and change. And that's some tips to help you stay out of condemnation. You know, and I know there's a big mindset shift with going from asking to commanding. Because then I tell you, you got all these songs in church that are asking, begging, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do with my songs? I can't sing any of these anymore. Well, good. Write new songs. Sing new praises to the Lord. Sing it from your heart. Don't sing to God to try to get Him to do something. Sing because you know who He is. That He is good and the devil is bad. And that He is worthy of your praise. Sing because it helps you get your focus on Him. Helps you be focused on the things of heaven. Just like in the book of Acts, where they were in prison. And they sung to the Lord, the chains broke. Because it got their eyes off the things seen and onto the things unseen. And that's where the unseen manifested in their lives. So bless you all. Have a good day.